And we're live and we're back and ready to go, guys, for episode 9. You know, episode 9.
I don't want to call it episode 9.
Why? It's just
a new
in
season.
Sequence. It's a new season. Well, it's undecided. You figure it out.
Season 2 episode.
No, welcome to season 2 of Two Scoops.
Episode 9.
Season 2 of Two Scoops. Things are looking a little bit different this time around. We have a new person thrown into the mix.
E-Money is the one and only.
No, we're not referring to him as E-Money.
Why?
So
the blessed one.
The
Sir Bleski. Yeah.
Eli Blessed one?
Yeah, the blessed one. Eli the blessed one, bro. The blessed one.
okay, Elijah, introduce yourself. Well, everybody give a round of applause to Elijah. Eli Bleski, number one runner.
What is that?
I'm the number one runner.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that.
What are you running from?
You. I'm Eli, 18.
Or
These are my friends.
This is we're not friends, bro.
Buddy, you're my friend. Whether you like it or not, I wouldn't be here if you weren't. So
Well, welcome in, Elijah. How are you feeling being here right now?
I'm feeling pretty good. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Are you nervous, excited,
Good mix of the both.
nauseous?
How's everyone's summer?
Nah. Summer?
Yeah, like it's been a minute. It's been a fat minute since we produced.
I haven't
You know
thought
what
about
I mean?
summer.
Like, it's been a minute.
I don't know. How was my summer was great. How was everybody else's summer?
We're here.
My summer was good.
How do you feel about it?
Started college.
Yeah? Oh, okay. There you go.
Let's
Started
represent
college.
education here for Elijah.
So you're like fresh in, right?
Yeah, fresh in and fresh out.
Fresh in and fresh out, just with
One semester
straightforward-
out of there.
No gap year? You're not doing that?
Nope.
That's not a thing?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Yeah, like I thought that was a thing now. You're not trying to backpack around South America or something, bro?
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do.
I don't know.
I don't see Elijah as the type to backpack across South
No,
America.
I would go to like
no
one
offense.
country and that's it.
No?
Yeah,
That's
and I
it?
feel like it'd be like he'd go to like Italy and be like,
That's
"You,
absolutely where I would go.
yeah." See, there we
Absolutely
go.
where
So
I
the
would go.
first semester of college.
Yep.
First semester of college, and you like what's like the most memorable thing from like this semester that you can say? Like what's the transition between like high school to college that you see in today's world? I'm interested. I'm
The
genuinely
difference
interested.
between high school and college that I noticed is probably the level of freedom you have. There's no attendance.
Nah,
You
I
show
want-
up, you do the work.
What's that outlandish shit? I don't want that.
Yeah,
I don't care about
outlandish
the
shit.
work, bro.
Wait,
I don't
hold
care
on.
about the work.
What? God, they're not taking attendance in your college classes?
No.
They don't take attendance.
That's
Who
like
cares about it?
It's just like-
if you
college.
you just said that you like it's an education. You should care about it.
we already talked about college.
Yeah, we did.
We
Now
talked
you got a
about
first
college.
world
We
example.
want that. I want to see it, like because college is completely different from when even school in general.
It's just high school, but more freedom. It's
Okay.
work. You go in,
How are
you're
the
there for an
people, though?
hour.
Like,
The
uh,
people,
I disagree.
what was it like for you?
I just think that it's like no, because college is just it's not. I mean, maybe it's a little bit more like similar for like high school right now because you're going to school still in the same hometown that we all grew up in. But when you actually go to college, it's a lot more about being independent. Like, and once I feel like, because with this school right now, you're only there for 2 years. But once after these 2 years, you're just going to realize how much you've grown yourself. And then you'll be like, oh shit, like now I'm independent. Now I can go out, do my own thing. I can like actually be a grown up and an adult and make adult decisions. I don't know. Cause even when I was a freshman in college, like I still didn't think I was a full blown adult. Like I still was looking at myself as a kid. I don't know if you feel that way as well.
I think there's definitely a gap between me and being a full adult. I think it's just, I think once I'm out of the place I'm living and I have to support myself by myself, that's when I'm an adult.
When you
Yes,
yeah, okay,
Elijah. That's a
completely.
great answer.
So
That was a
you
good
think-
answer.
So you just think it like becoming an adult, it just has to do with like handling your responsibility once you start. Like,
It's handling responsibility as you get older because
Okay.
the responsibilities just keep coming and you're not going to have your parents there to solve them for you. So you have to figure it out yourself.
Yeah, as I know a lot of people who still don't have it figured out even in their old age, man. So
You talking about
good luck.
yourself right now?
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where'd you grow?
Straight out of Compton, actually.
He was talking to you about it.
Born and raised in Compton.
Oh, like, born and raised in Compton.
Yeah.
Is it Pennsylvania?
I couldn't tell you.
Well, I heard that you were from Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
You.
Me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you told me you were from Pittsburgh when I met you, and then when you said you weren't. You got caught up. Thought I wouldn't remember that.
Dude, honestly, I like to run with it sometimes,
For no reason. Just gaslight off the rip.
Just gaslight off
Yeah.
the rip.
First day meeting you. Yeah, I'm from
Wait. We need to we did no introduction really into the new show, what we're going to be doing. We didn't really give any segue into how we're leading this or what is supposed to be the premise of our, moving forward this next generation of our new stage. There's a lot of things that have changed.
Please
since
tell us.
we've. I was hoping to get there.
Tell us the new topic.
I was like, new topic. Oh, the topics for today? No.
No, we're going to take a second
about
to
this
Take a second to
tell us about the
get
journey
back
of this
into
new season.
the journey in this new season. Guests like yourself, bringing in some new perspectives, some fresh takes, other generations, and see how they kind of feel bouncing off of, me and Alexis's opinions, because obviously we're very strong, and opinionated individuals. So strong-minded. I was honestly holding back on using the term strong-minded.
Why? I think I'm a very strong-minded person.
For comical purposes.
For comical purposes. Elijah's a strong-minded person, though, too.
Yeah.
If he wasn't, then he wouldn't be sitting here right now
It is.
doing
It does take a lot to be on these cameras, honestly, dude.
Yeah, you gotta be yourself.
It changes. I know. That's what I need. Full disclaimer, man. I think that's what the season's really about for me. I can tell you that much, personally. I think definitely just taking ownership of myself. I've had a long conversation with, the people around me and what we did last season. So, I feel like it was a great introduction and it was good to see, and to get comfortable. It's more importantly, I need to be true to me. I'm not going to be upset about the way that people view me or how they feel that I talk when I'm on these cameras. So
how did your experience in the first season help you realize what you want to be in this season?
I just didn't like it. Just going back and retrying, just my person. I loved everything that I did. I just didn't like who I was. I didn't like what I was. It was too tentative. It's not how I live my life. It's not how I go about anything in my life. It's not even how I deal with people in a professional manner or just in my own personal manner in period.
So why do you feel that you did that then?
It was intimidating. You're just sitting there on camera. People are judging you. What we're doing is a very controversial thing. People definitely have feelings about it, as we've seen through some of our reactions and engagement, even though if it was on a minor scale, there was engagement, there was comments and just obviously the internet's the internet, but just what we're doing in general is kind of what do they call it? Like an industry breaker, kind of you're shaking up the scene and actually putting a different perspective to podcast where 90% of these shows are just all circle jerking each other, talking about the same things. Or they're just dictating conversation where they're like, oh, these are my thoughts and points, and I'm going to bring somebody on the show who is going to reinforce my thoughts and my opinions. Let me just talk at you. It's not a conversation. It's not a discussion. It's just a very straight line form and approach. So whenever you're doing something like that, I feel like you're going to get a lot of feedback, a lot of slack, what you could be doing it better, yada, yada, yada. So it's doing, being one of, putting yourself out there like that was just enough to make me feel all right, okay, am I just going to come off as somebody who's just attacking and berating this person or trying to postulate or project, my insecurities or whatever my opinions on someone. So finding that middle ground with Alexis, in the first season took time. And it's just because there is such vast differences. You're doing something that is so it feels inherent. It doesn't, you would never do it. It's uncomfortable, inherently uncomfortable. So it's whenever you put yourself in uncomfortable situations, you're either going to make or break, or you're going to grow from it, or, there's going to be a divide. So I feel I grew from it. And this season is about expanding on that, and
yeah, but I think that we also with that being said, it's we're going to try and stay true to what the whole, background of it was, which was to bring two and other opinions together that don't necessarily correlate at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the foundation.
Which is why we're getting the guests. I'm excited for some of these guests. I want some of these people. Some of these topics. I'm not going to give too much away.
Spoilers.
No spoilers. No spoilers. But it's definitely going to be more of this. It's definitely going to be more me and Alexis conversating with just different minds and other opinions, and actually getting more fact based, or just in sense of just a broader scope. Not even necessarily fact-based, but just because, obviously facts are important. Statistics are important. Being credible is important. But more so, I think the discussion is what's meant to be had here,
Yeah.
And that's where the space that I'm really looking to create is a space where people feel comfortable with sharing their opinions and accepting their faults, or just or growing and learning. So We can do that.
Yeah.
Then we're winning, honestly. at
You
the
have
end
you
of
have the
day.
experience now from the first season.
Yeah,
You know what you liked, what you didn't like.
What do I know?
So you make the changes.
Yeah.
You'll figure that out too, Elisha. You'll
Yeah.
see what you like and what you don't like.
Yeah.
So for the first season, right? For this first episode, or sorry, the first season, first episode, or this episode 9. See, this is your fault.
No, we're not calling it
You
episode
haven't-
9
you-
because
this is
this
your
is
fault.
no, it's
Season
fine.
2,
Then
episode 1.
it's a season 2. Thank you, Elisha. It's a
Season
new
2,
season. We have
episode
new
1.
people coming in. It doesn't.
Next gen.
This isn't like
It's
we just took a
episode
5-month
9. Get with
break
the
and it's
times,
like,
man. Get
oh,
with the
and here
times.
we are and we're back with an episode
Yeah, but we're
9.
human
We were just
beings.
off for 4 months.
Yeah,
but that doesn't
we're
mean
human
that.
beings.
So this is a new start. This is a new chapter. It literally in the notes it says next gen. New season.
Chapter
Welcome
2, next gen.
to
2 scoops.
episode 1 of season 2 of
episode
2
1.
Scoops. Thank you.
You got the
Thank
foundation.
you.
All right.
It's just it makes more sense.
Let-
It makes it more like it makes it a lot easier for the listeners and the viewers also too, because then it's like,
Yeah, they know
oh,
what
we're
they
on
know
episode 9, but now there's a new person in it. It just, you know what I mean? You gotta keep them
okay.
informed
If you say-
and keep them.
You know what I forgot?
I agree.
What?
I forgot my flag. Dun, 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 dun.
What are you
I don't think
referencing?
that-
What are you
I
referencing
don't-
right now.
No? Wait, I wish I had my. What's today, dude? What are you talking about? It's like one of the biggest days of the year. It says it's all over. It's like it's election day. It's
Election day. Wow.
You know?
How do you,
Everyone's
how
regular-
do you feel about election day, Brandon?
Yo.
Obviously, from his beaming smile, he is and his little
He's excited.
his parade. He's excited.
Okay.
He's
I'm
ready
very
to.
excited about election day. There's nothing better than the parade and the campaign of falsehood.
And you know, for the viewers at home, this is Brandon's 30th time voting. Too.
Yes, it
He's
is.
been on the scene since Franklin
Yes.
Rose.
I have voted in every
Since
election.
Roosevelt.
He's been voting.
I've been voting since Roosevelt. I
He
have
was
been
here-
voting-
Experienced polio.
Brandon
his
was
very
here when
own
the
self.
Constitution was put in place. His fingerprints are on that treaty.
So I helped craft the paper, actually. Man.
He created it.
I worked. in
Yeah,
the
but like
paper mill.
Elisha, like you weren't even like a thought like when
It was a speckle in the eye of a seed. I don't know what the
Nothing.
fuck. Yes.
Great quote there, Brandon.
yeah, Brandon, you're
It is
For
election
times
day.
ago.
But to be honest with you, to answer your question, I don't believe if to talk about American politics is the fastest way to sound ignorant. I don't believe in it. There's no foundation. There's a divide. I think it's all a hoax. It's all a play. Like political realm, while I would love to like discuss it because this is interesting because it's a huge, it's a predominant part of society. Like moving forward, like as long as it's everyone knows, like I think politics is a game. It's a hoax. I love it for the celebration. I love it for the parade. Everyone thinks that it's the time that they are able to like discuss their opinions or project their thoughts and what's right and wrong and their moral compass. But at the end of the day, like, it was all decided. I'm a firm believer when it comes to politics and government, it's preordained. Stop pretending. There's people so much bigger than us that are and so much bigger than these.
Yeah, there's higher
presidents.
powers.
Yeah, that are controlling and that are behind the scenes making these moves, and like this is theater. You give people the idea that they have a say every 4 years. It's enough to to quell to calm the masses. I have a say. So like I love to vote because voting is self-care.
yeah, but okay, but like for you,
know.
but like you can't. I like understand your point, but you can't sit there and say that you're super excited about election day. You can't wait to vote, but then in the
I do.
but then in the same breath, you don't believe.
I like to participate. Do you dress up for Halloween?
But
You
like
know what I mean?
that's,
It's
but it's like
here's
it's
the
not
thing,
like,
it's just
but
it's a
like
holiday
that's
celebration.
But that in
What do you
that,
get out of
yeah.
voting in something
My
that you don't believe in?
participation trophy. And
Is it a trophy?
like I get my
'Cause,
badge, I get my
as
sticker.
as you said, you feel like it's all predetermined. So,
so what,
do
like,
you get
I'm
out of
gonna
voting
not
for
vote.
yourself?
I'm not gonna vote.
What do you
just
get
not
out of
vote?
it?
yeah. What like
okay.
was it? Because from what you're saying, it sounds like it's like it sounds like it's a mockery to you, like
Yeah.
voting. So, but then that's what I'm saying. It's
I
like
to
you.
make light of the situation.
But I don't
And
think that, an election is something to make light of, especially when our country is in the state that it's in. I don't think
and then
that
I get to use this
it's
time
like
of the
fair
year to
for
like
people.
stand behind my bigoted
Okay.
beliefs.
Okay.
Am I going to be able to finish my
Yes,
thought?
okay, no,
I don't
finish
think
with
that it's fair for, for you to like sit there and make a mockery of it when other people, like women fought for the right to vote for so long. And here you are, you're like, you know what I mean? Like, and you're just going to sit there and say, oh, well, I think that politics is all a game. It's all a hoax. Everybody has it all predetermined and planned. Yeah, they probably do. But for that, so then don't vote. If you think that it's such a mockery and you think it's a game, then like, what's the point? You know what I mean?
I get what
because
you're
so if you're going to say that like you stand with one side of a belief and like you're standing behind one candidate, then like, are you actually supporting them, or are you just doing it like just so you can play in the game and like, you know, be a part of it?
Yeah, I just like to participate.
But like, but that's what.
But
that's what.
Why do you go watch a baseball game?
What do you get out of it?
What do you go watch?
You
a
don't
baseball
have to be
game? Why do
registered to vote, though.
Like, okay.
But you obviously did because you.
It means something to you.
It means something
take the
enough
time
for
to go
exactly. It means something enough for you to be able to register to go and like fill out a
you have your own
ballot.
views.
Yeah, but I don't
because-
think
just because you
I participate, don't think that it has any more value.
I think
like,
if
as
I
anything
made
else.
the rules for the elections and you had the one vote to elect somebody, then you would care about it.
Yeah.
But since you're not the
No
free
one
choice,
has that though.
Yeah,
no one
exactly.
has that though.
But
That's
I
an
mean,
analogy that will never exist. No
to
one's gonna.
say-
Make
Yeah,
that
but it
retirement vote.
doesn't matter. It
Like it's a participation.
But not. It's
And
not
it's just-
really a participation because it's like
and
I
it's
just
just
said.
an
I just
option.
brought up the point. It's like there were people that there's still countries where like people don't even have an option to vote. So it's like, why would you, as somebody who you just said you take pride in like being an American, like you
do.
exactly. So it's like, why would you? That's something that. Our country is one of the very few countries that is able to do that. So it's like, why would you not stand up with pride and be like, oh, well, this is, something that really I can try and be.
And I participate.
Yeah, but you just sat there and are making
For
You're making
entertainment.
fun of
For
it.
entertainment purposes.
I
But-
mean, listen.
I get
But
to have-
our
I get to
our
have
future is
conversation
not
with-
for entertainment.
I have conversation with people that I wouldn't necessarily get to have conversation with. I enjoy those things. People feel a little bit more free to actually like relinquish some of their political beliefs. It's like it's really more so for the introduction and the conversation basis that I even choose a side and that I stand ground so that I can at least say and at least stand on a platform of where I feel, and then I can have those discussions with whoever the contrary is. I'm not having the conversation to try to sway them. I'm having the conversations to genuinely figure out what the mindset is of those who are uncomfortable.
Okay.
But do I necessarily care? No.
So then don't
And
ask
it's
the
like-
question.
No, they feel ever so inclined to talk to me. They feel ever so inclined
gonna
to
be
see where
honest.
my beliefs are. So if someone feels because of the time of the year that it is, which most people do, what are you gonna say?
I think that, for you to say that you don't care about it is just incorrect. Because you simply wouldn't be on this podcast discussing politics right now if you didn't care at all. I think
care about it.
Wait, I think you have a problem with the fact that our government is corrupt, and no matter what you do, there's still things that are going to happen
wouldn't
that are
feel-
beyond your control. And
who wouldn't
listen,
feel that way?
that's a reasonable thing to think.
Yeah, but
you know?
everybody knows that our government is corrupt.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that you can't play a part.
Exactly.
To say that you want to vote, but then you don't care about it, just means you're voting for no reason.
No,
And everyone knows that if you're
I'm
going to
voting.
vote,
I
there's a
just said
reason
it.
for it.
I'm voting to be able to have a stance. So when people do decide,
You don't have
present,
to vote to have a stance.
Yeah, you kind of do.
That's not.
I disagree.
You kind of do. Like you can't just be like the person that's like, oh, this is where I believe, and I'm not gonna vote because like that doesn't necessarily help. That's a double negative.
So what about me?
Do you know what I mean? That's just a double negative. To like say that I'm gonna have a stance, but then I'm not gonna vote. It's like, why would you even like? That's more so of like, then what's the point of even like taking if you're not even gonna like choose
Well-
a side? If you're not gonna pick a side, you're just gonna sit on the middle. Like, what's the point?
I mean, I'm 18. This is the first election that I am
Yes.
Are you gonna
eligible
vote?
to vote
Are
in.
you
Yes,
el-
Elijah.
you're
I'm not
el-
voting.
You're not voting in this.
not
election.
voting in the presidential.
So you're gonna vote in local politics?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that was like my first thing too. I don't think I voted in
And,
my first
I think
presidential election.
When you're somebody that's my age and you're coming into voting, they're not giving you any good options. So there's not really people that you want to vote for. There's people that you don't want to vote for.
What's important to you though? What's someone for you?
There's
like,
many views. I'm a people's person.
Like
So
for-
a lot of my humanitarian views are democratic.
but like, what would you want to
it's
see
for
from
the party? But when it comes to financials and how this country would run under Republican leadership, that's where I stand.
But as a young, like outside of the political parties, like as a young American going into college, first election eligible to vote, what do you think is important to you in the next candidate? Like that's something I feel like is interesting to know. Like what's important? Like what do you want to see in the next 4 years because you're going to reap them. Essentially being in the generation that you are at 18, just post high school, starting your early education or whatever it may be, you're going to see this next tenure, like this next run of like policies and So what do you think that you see now that you would like to see changed, or what would you like to see from the next presidential candidate, like when it comes to like policies for at least your gen?
For my generation in particular, I think working on prices of healthcare and affordability for things like insulin, stuff like that. You know, I have a lot of relatives who rely on things like that
I hear that.
don't have a lot of money. So I feel like that's important to me. Plus, I think it's important that education stays up to date in our country. That's the main thing. You know, as somebody who just came through the school system, I know the flaws. I know what needs to be changed. I know what is good and bad.
And we saw it. Okay.
I want progression in that.
So progression in education, progression in health. So like you just like the cores, like the foundations of health and education.
Well, I mean, I could break it down, but I'm not going to go into every subspecies of health.
I got you. Those are the core though. Like you just like to see like better.
I think education. I think
like better education from the top down, or like from the bottom up, like elementary school.
I think that education should be better at an earlier level.
Okay.
So that there's less pressure for people to have to go to college to be able to be successful.
Got you.
But do you think that in this day and age, it's kind of hard to be able to like not like a lot of parents and also students just put that pressure on themselves to be able to want to go to college, to be able to like make themselves successful. And you know, this is something that isn't really talked about, but it's like you and I, like I know that I've talked with some of your other friends too, like you're thinking of like going to like a trade school to do stuff like that. So, and that's not something that a lot of people talk about, especially in education. And I think that with especially you, like coming up, it's your first time voting, like that is something that's important to be able to talk about other options that isn't just college once you graduate high school, because a lot of people don't even know that those are options, like transfer schools and things like that.
I think that's one of the things that I mean when I say I want the education to be better, because, you know, if people are coming into 8th grade with the knowledge of somebody, like when it comes to taxes and knowing that you're gonna have to pay those, healthcare, knowing you're gonna have to get independent healthcare at some point in your life, you know, they don't talk about those things at all in school.
No.
They teach you math that you're not going to use unless you're going into a business degree or a math degree, but they use it so that it develops your brain. But instead of giving you real world material to get your life started earlier, they want you to then spend 4 more years in college to spend that money so there's more government funding. That's the reason why trade schools are not talked about as much in particular. You know, it's one of the hidden gems of the world, I would say. You know, being able to go, you could do automotive, electrical, carpentry, any of these trades, you know, 5 years in, you're done. You're capped out at what you're making. And there's a lot of people who make 150 plus a year after 5 years, and you don't need to have a college degree for that.
Yeah.
You could get into the union with no prior experience, no college, nothing.
Yeah. And just work your way up.
Yeah. I just think people need to know the paths that are available.
And it's still an education.
It is an education, but in this,
right?
it's not an education.
Like what we're saying is that,
college.
it's not, and also it's not talked about. People don't.
Yeah.
When you're in high school, that's not an option.
I think that's it's
and even
obscure
when,
to me, because it was always an option for me growing up.
Yeah, but even when I was in college, like they don't talk about that. Like when you're in college, the only careers that professors or, you know, other people surrounding you are giving you are careers that are big careers. They're not just saying like, oh, you know, I'm going to go be like, they're not telling us to go be electricians, which is really messed up when you think about it, because everybody can get a job. Everybody can, you know, make money, can work their way up. But when you're in like a college environment like that, there's not really, they don't have room for that type of conversation.
You already made a decision. You're going to college, right?
I mean, but still, but it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like that, the college intern wouldn't even be able to run without, you know, people that work in unions and things like that.
Literally.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, that building wouldn't work if there was no electric. That building wouldn't work if they didn't have a person to weld those buildings together.
100%. Those are the fundamental cores of our, 100%.
It's the fundamental cores, but it's getting lost in the advancement of our society, you know, where I think people look at those type of jobs as old school and kind of outdated. So, you know, when people are graduating high school, they're looking at degrees. They think, oh, business, that's popular. I can get a job doing that. Oh,
it's great for people who are in the field, though. You know, it creates supply and demand.
It does.
You know, they get to charge more for their, their services.
That's why I'm taking advantage of that.
They're able to make more. There's more of a demand for them, and not enough of the supply. So.
Absolutely.
But I think even like you being at the age that you are, like 18, and having such like having opinions about topics like that is a really good thing, because I think that a lot of people in your generation, it's a lot harder to find people that are truly themselves in their stances. Like they truly believe, like they believe what they want to believe because they believe it. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of the time with your generation, they see things on the internet, or they see other things that are surrounding, you know, political views or politicians or just the election just in general, and they decide through like what they see on the internet that that's what they're going to do.
They're not really educated on topics. And that's, you know, social media in elections plays such a big part now. You know, to be able to, you know, somebody gives a 2-hour speech, it's going to be obvious you can take at least one section of that and turn it into something that it's not.
Yeah.
And then you post that and millions of people see it because social media is so mainstream that those people are going to look at that and then think, oh, this person said what? This person said that.
Well, it's
Why would
also,
they say that?
it's even like other, like, you know, TV shows and stuff like that. SNL, like every time it's election season, every single one of their skits around this time of year it's all based around the election. It's all based around the candidates that are running, and it's about the literal divide that is within our country. Like that's what majority of the skits are about. And I don't know, I just think it's like, because even from watching that, like some people don't, like they just watch it and they're like, oh, well, it's like, well, they're making fun of that, so it's like, well, that's what I should vote for, when it's like, you know what I mean? Not everybody, but I think that sometimes when you're young, coming into like the time, like in the age where you can actually vote, I think that it's not talked about enough. I don't think that people are aware like how to register to vote and stuff.
You're
like
just unprepared, you know?
Yeah.
You're one day you're a 10th grader,
yeah,
and then 2 years later you're supposed to vote in an election.
yeah,
It's if you, and especially if you're somebody that doesn't follow politics, you know, you're not going to know anything besides what you see off the internet, because you're not you're not going to be interested in that. You're not going to go research what's going on with these people.
yeah.
So I think, you know, education is something that needs to be brought up more heavily in debates, and, you know, what are you going to do for our communities? And me in particular, I'm not voting in the presidential, but I am voting in anything local type things like that, you know, budgets, school boards.
Why don't you want to vote in the presidential?
Because I don't like either candidates. You know, it would feel dishonest to vote for someone that I don't like and that I don't think would really benefit our country. You know, because there's two sides of me. You know, there's the person who knows this person is probably better for the people. This person is probably better for our country. Where do you draw that line of what is important to me? And I would rather not be involved in that because I don't like either of them. So, you know, when I can vote on this change in the tri-state area to impact the funding of schools, like, yeah, I would vote on that. But presidential is not important to me.
Well, do you think do you think that's just something to do with this election in particular?
Yeah.
So you think, you know, come 4 years time, you'll probably vote, or you don't? You don't know.
I mean, it
can't
depends.
tell.
It really depends on who's running. You know, it's if you give me two turds to vote for, you know, like what am I really supposed to do? Like, it's not like there's one who's good and one who's not good. It's two that are pretty trash.
Yeah. No, I see your point.
You know?
Yeah. And I mean, like I said too, it's like when you were in high school, COVID was a big part of, you know, like, so it's hard to be able to create a stance and like actually, because that, I don't know, when I was in high school, like that was the first time that I even started to really understand politics and start to talk about politics, was like just like through history classes and just things like that. You know what I mean? Because everybody has different opinions. And then, so that it's probably hard, because I also think too, it's like our generation has created, it's just, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's just a stigma around the entire election season. Like there's just,
I think
everybody's on edge.
They're more and more aware that our political system is not working.
Yeah.
So, you know, putting two candidates in front of somebody is not going to fix the system in general. And a lot of people know that. So, you know, there's less motive to go out and vote.
Yeah.
This year in particular.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like though I feel like a lot more people have been, I feel like this time around, like when I first voted 4 years ago, I feel like I'm seeing a lot more like stuff. Like obviously everybody like posts like, oh, go out and vote. But I feel like I've seen so many posts. And I mean, that's a great thing. You know, people, especially people that are, you know, are celebrities, they're actually using their fame for something good. They're telling people to go out and exercise their right to vote, because again, not everybody gets to do this. So, yeah.
What do you think about the voting season, Brandon?
I love it.
Do you like it?
I do. I have so much fun doing.
Because
it,
you
honestly.
said that you're not a real voter, but do you like hearing other people talking about it like they want to vote for?
Yeah, absolutely.
Entertainment.
I love it. It truly is. It's sadistic though. I just like thinking that people's opinion. Like I like the belief that their opinion matters. You know, like I like hearing it. Like I love like that their platform that they think that they can invoke change, like of something that's like.
I think the one thing
that's a huge like to me. So I entertain it. Like I'm just a very like what's in front of you type of person. Like it's raw numbers to me. It's just simple as that. It's not emotion or like feelings. It's just like simply what can happen and what cannot happen. Like what is probable and what's the most probable, what's not the most probable, right? Like who's supporting, who's not, majority minority situation. So like when it's something like about the minority, I don't really have the empathy to be like, oh, okay, like these people, these individuals are incapable of getting these resources. Like, why don't you feel about it, right? Like, why would you not want to stand up on and speak on that? It's like, because there's only so much that people can actually control. So like, really, politics, like this season for me is just like, it is just entertainment. It really is. Like, it truly is just entertainment for me. Like, because I don't like half of these people that have opinions can't even inflict their own life. They can't even make changes of their habits or like what they even want to do for themselves. But yet they have an opinion so strong about what other people are doing that they know nothing about, and they think that iterating it, like uttering it, is gonna be impactful, that they're profound. Like, no, but I'll take it in because that's human. You know, that's growth. If you're unwilling to hear it, if you're unwilling to accept that those are that it's out there, and you're rejecting it, you're not growing. You're not challenging yourself to like be in a different environment. There are such different opinions, and like this is America. It's a melting pot of cultures. It's a melting pot of cultures. What you feel like you think you deserve here, you know, versus where somebody from another country comes in and they're just grateful for the chance. Like how many people I know? Oh, sorry.
To add on to that, you know, I think one of the things that the people in this country do is they over slander what we have and underappreciate it. Because, you know, if you really take the problems that we have in this world right now and compare them to any third world country, you would realize how well we really do have it here. You know, it's people want change, but they're not willing to accept that change is not going to happen overnight.
Well, it's like the 8% notion, I think, or something like that. Like, I'm pretty sure you can look this up. It's like if you have money in savings and you're like less than like $2,000 in debt, right? You know, essentially you're living better than like 90% of the world. You know, majority of people in America live within the 8% bubble, like 10% bubble. You know, even the gift of being able to vote, like we're living in a bubble. And you have me hyperfixated on the 3 and the 2 and the 1%ers when I'm already living in the 8. There's a vast majority of the world
like
that's
an
not
8%er?
Absolutely,
Is that how you feel as a person?
I know I am.
But
I don't
feel like that?
I feel that way 110%. I feel like I'm of the 10th percentile. To be, if we're talking facts, I feel like I am above a 1%. But
you definitely know people though who are at the bottom percentiles. You've interacted.
I grew
with
up
people.
in it. I grew up in it. Like that's been my life.
Do you not think that impacts the way you think about politics in a little bit of a sense? You know, knowing the difference in the highs and the lows and the
that's a
people
great question.
that have to deal with it.
Yeah, of course I definitely, it's shaped me. Like that's like me, like it's natural. Like it's what I saw growing up. So I do have beliefs in it, but I don't feel for the people that are still there.
You should.
You know,
yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, but majority,
that goes to my family that are still in there, and that goes to anybody that still grovels in it. I don't feel for them that are in there. I don't. And if you have a choice every day.
No exceptions?
No, you make that choice every day. You decide to live in the world and you lead the life that you want to lead. I'm not going to feel bad because this is your circumstance. Make a different circumstance. Make a change. Go blow it up.
What about the people that can't change that circumstance?
I don't believe in it. You can.
I don't believe that's
in it.
just
so
I just don't. That's just like a.
That's a very.
That
just seems like a very interesting type of view. Just because it's like you know what I mean? Like there's certain people that they like. What about people that have gotten into serious car
Like
car accidents.
Are we talking about like physically like incapable? Like okay,
I'm
I
just
thought we were talking
people
about
that
like,
people
we're
that
getting into like physiologically
even
incapable.
people that
they're
are born into situations that are just it's damn near impossible to crawl out of.
Yeah.
I think there's a certain amount of willpower.
You were already in the
that
you were
comes-
already in the 8%. So the possibility was all there. We live in it. You're born in it. You're one of the 345 million Americans that are here and have that opportunity to get an education regardless.
Because I think what you have to understand is, when you take a child born in Beverly Hills and you compare them to a child born in Compton, you're not you cannot
talk to me about the starting point.
You can't expect it's exactly
I got you about the starting point. That's fine. Like everyone that starts at a different place, we get that, but it's all about effort and energy at the end of the day. Like you can most certainly change your circumstance regardless of your circumstance at any moment.
But if they don't have the resources to do that, it's really hard to be able to get out.
Yeah, the greatest lie ever told, man, I still firmly believe it, is that it's not that easy. It's that simple. It's as simple as belief. You make it a belief happen, you want it to happen, you will it to happen, it will happen. And I'm a firm believer in that. Like I'm not going to be sitting here told that because someone had a different starting point or they came up that you should feel for the fact that they have to go through a little bit more than the next person to get to it. Everyone gets a life that's deserving to them of like what they put into it. They could have had a terrible upbringing, a terrible start, but if they continued and they were consistent and they were a good person and they were focused and they were determined, they are going to get out of it because that is the energy that they put forward to it every day. And I've seen much more examples of that in my life of people who've had nothing build fortunes for themselves, right? That I'm going to sit here and believe that like, now because these people that grow, like there's more people that do it that don't, you know what I mean, that are unable. What I'm saying is that like because more people aren't able to do it, that now it's like, well, it's their starting point that I need to feel bad and need to be empathetic to it. Like their circumstance or situation, everyone has it. Everyone has the situation. It's medical. My mother's sick. I needed to take care of them. My grandparents. We can put attachment and emotional attachment to anything that you wanted to and circumstantial, but if we're coming down to the gist of it, the core of it, if you wanted to change your circumstances, you could. And there was times and days that people did that. They like went and moved to LA and built themselves as a character.
I think that's a good point to move off like onto something, because you just said like, like you feel like people, like their circumstances, people want to be able to change these things. That's why people vote. People vote so that they have an opportunity to be able to change the circumstances of the life that they were given. You know what I mean? Like not because there's a lot, this country is divided on a lot of things about healthcare, about reproductive rights, about just like our homeless
people, their culture.
Like our homeless crisis, like everybody has, you know what I mean? So I think that that's why when it comes down to this like this season, voting is I don't know. I mean, like I understand Elijah's point as to like why he's not doing it. Do I necessarily agree with it? No, because I think that you should still, if you have that opportunity to exercise, to be able to exercise a vote, to be able to make a change within the country that you live in, I think you should be able to take that opportunity.
I get that.
And I think that you should also not try and make a joke of it just because, I mean, again, like I understand your point. I see that people, I see why you look at it like that. I see why you have a stance, and I see like why you want to have a stance, but it's not necessarily just about having a stance.
Yeah. I mean, I would lean into this, I grew up in a family, as to where I am today in comparison to the three siblings that I have, I am more fortunate than them in the sense that, I had a different father than them, and my father's family was very stable. So I always had a side that I could lean on. But for my siblings, they didn't have that. And I think that gave me the perception of, when you say that if somebody really wants something, they can go get it, you can't do anything without opportunity. And that's the truth. Because you cannot, if you go into that place and you want that job and they say no,
How do you think opportunity comes though? You think it's just presented?
No, you got it. Well, it can be, but you have to want that opportunity, but you have to also understand that there is not equal opportunity in the world.
That's the world.
You take.
That's life.
Is it life?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
so
go-
why
go put yourself
so why
in-
wouldn't you take at least some initiative to
like,
vote and change that so that people can
put
have better
yourself-
chances to live and people can have better chances to thrive and survive?
And you think that that vote is what's impacting that?
I mean,
Like, you think
one vote in particular
that,
is
like, you
not
think
the change in that.
any of their votes.
Yes.
Yes,
Impactful.
Brennan. Brennan,
Absolutely.
yes, 100%.
You've been alive
You
for-
think that
you've been
no,
alive for like 10 years. You've seen 3 different presidential terms, and what has changed? Like, you know what I mean? Even in your saying, like, in the past 12 years, what in your life has truly been impacted? Like, that a presidential candidate came in and it uprooted your life. You know,
Healthcare.
like
yeah, healthcare was a
Until
huge.
until I was 9 years old, I didn't have health care.
Like, you
My
didn't
parents
have
couldn't afford it. So I had no coverage. I didn't have Medicaid because my parents didn't have insurance. And then presidentials come in, Obamacare, any of these things, you know, the opportunity to get these things held me in a stance. Like, I literally did not go to a doctor from age 6 to 10, right?
I know people in the
And
projects in Section 8 that are
that's
going to
great.
doctors. Like,
That's
you know
great.
what I mean?
You know,
With no money.
to
you can
say
get
that
to a
people
doctor.
can't make something out of
Can't
where they
make
come
it
from
to
is
the
wrong
doctor.
because you
Yeah.
can be somebody from any place in the world and be successful, but to understand that not everyone has the opportunity to be successful, no matter how much time or effort you put in.
But then what? Now that you understand it, then like now
You
what?
make
like,
more routes. You,
like,
you
so
appeal
what
more to
are
the
you-
people
So
around
you individually help create the opportunities for other people. That like you're like that's the impact that you're gonna help make the opportunity for other people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Over
You
the
know what
last, I mean,
You think?
I've obviously never voted before, but I've been politically aware since probably 10 years old.
Yeah.
And I know both of my parents' views and the things that they really wanted to change when certain people got elected. Because when you have issues that are beyond your power, but you have a vote, you have a voice, and you have a choice. So to be able to put that vote into something that you
Bars. Hello, bars, Elijah.
when you want to put that into something that you like and something that you value,
Good.
that's your choice.
That's
So
good.
when it comes to elections, you know, this president's going to do this for you, this president's going to do this for you. To say that
You know what
doesn't
elections
matter.
Feel like? You know what
It
elections
does.
feel like?
What do they
like
feel like?
marketing campaigns. I feel like ad campaigns.
Well, that's part of it.
Yeah, that's what the election feels like for me. It feels like Subaru and Suzuki. It like feels like fucking BMW and Audi. Like which one are you gonna
Well,
get?
but I mean, they have to market themselves. They're creating
Yeah.
a brand for themselves.
I mean, they're
creating
trying to
they're
address the
creating
whole
the
country,
brand
so.
they're trying to
They are.
appeal to the brand of themselves while also appealing to the brand of the election and
The USA.
and the USA.
Oh man,
Hundreds of millions of people that you have to try to appease.
you know, it's definitely.
I think-
It's also, you know, I think too, it's
Definitely
like as you
entertaining.
grow up and you become more aware of, you know, issues that are important to you and things that matter to you in your life and things that you want to continue to see in your future or not see in your future. I think that that is ever changing. You know, as I've grown up, there were things that were more important to me in my first election, where now there's things that are a hell of a lot more important to me that I didn't even really care about last election. But since I've gotten older and, you know, I've learned more about things that actually matter to me and the impact that some of these things could have on my life, I want to be able, even if my vote doesn't count fully in my head, I still know that I'm practicing the right to be able to try and make a better future for myself and for the family that I want to have at one point. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's not necessarily, I don't know. I don't think that picking who, like, I don't know. I just think that over the past couple of years, the divide has become so much stronger.
Well, that's the point of the political system of the U.S. You know, when you have two parties, you're directly putting two people against each other.
Yeah.
And a lot of the issue with politics is the fact that people can't get over those issues. You know, this person disagrees with me, so they have to be seen as an enemy. But, you know, if you're only given two choices and one person wants this and one person wants another, there's always going to be conflict.
Yeah.
You know, I think that obviously, you know, there's dream scenarios where our political world becomes clean and unmessed with, but that's not going to happen.
Well, that term used to be called reaching over the aisle in like politics when back in the day when there were actual politicians.
Back in the day.
Yeah,
Like
instead of
1930.
like lobbyists and campaigns.
His first
Yeah.
election, Elijah, remember, with
People used
FDR,
to-
he
it
remembers
used to be
it.
called reaching over the aisle. You used to have to talk to individuals in the opposite party and make up on differences and, you know, actually come to some sound resolution because you wanted to get the bill passed. So you have to pull one thing, you know what I mean, to get something else. Like,
Yeah.
that was the way that it used to be done. Now it's. Just,
I mean,
it's
hello.
money.
Just I don't know
Now
if
it's just
anybody here is a little
money-oriented.
musical theater fan, but you know, if you listen to Hamilton, you learn all about it. I'm being so serious. It's like it literally talks about the two-party system and how I'm serious.
The two-party system is the reason that America is on the decline right now. That is the whole purpose. To cause divide, to cause
George Washington said it.
The reason that there's high classes and lower classes is because there's two parties.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you know,
That's where it
I
all
think,
started.
You know, and another thing is when it comes to equality, if everyone was equal, well, there would be no progression in the world. So, you know, there's always going to be a group that's not
So what
as
about
represented.
what about
or
a
not as
mass
funded.
boycott? And it's like that's what Americans do. It's just like
So-
everyone
so
just like
everyone in the world
everyone
decided
just
not to
says
vote.
we're not gonna vote. Like we're not gonna participate. Like
I don't
do you
think-
do you think that would make a change? Like
I
to the
don't think
system?
that
I mean,
I
you
don't
would
think that
literally-
would ever even be
'Cause
possible though.
disrupt the
Well, you would have
disrupt
to do
the
some
electoral
real damage.
college because you have to like disrupt the way
Congress.
that Congress
Congress
way
needs to
that
be
the votes are
changed.
allocated, right? If you want to look at it at the logistical
Or just take the 90-year-olds out of Congress.
because there's some states that split electoral votes. Some states, when you win them, you get all of them. So
Some of them
like,
have different
like,
districts.
If there was a collective where everyone's like, all right, screw this, we don't like any of the candidates, we don't support any of it, and there was just a full boycott initiative that we're just not going to participate, where there's not enough ballots in any of the 50 states for them to distribute the electoral
Yeah.
votes, right?
I get what you're
Then it would kind of force everyone to sit down and draft new legislation. Like, what do we do? Because you have to do something that's unprecedented to actually make a change in our democracy and in our Congress. Like, so if you want to do something, if you want to break up the system, you want to make something different, then you'd have to that's a way to change it. Get enough people to not vote around the nation, where they're like everyone decides that they would rather vote for some rando or whatever or nothing at all to the
Eli
point where
Bleski,
you can't
2029.
even get take
Well,
the
I
ballots
feel
or
like
take the votes.
I
I
feel
feel
like
like
for
that's
like
a way.
Yeah, but I feel like with like the past couple of elections, like we've just kind of been like the land of empty promises. Like all these politicians
dirty
and
game.
all these politicians and candidates get up there and they're like, oh well, this is what I'm gonna do to change it, and this is what I'm gonna do to change it. Blah 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 blah.
Do they even do that anymore? I feel like I haven't really seen any of those kind of
haven't-
conversations.
I haven't seen
like,
policies from Congress.
Yeah, no one's talking about. People just don't. They're not. It's not even discussed.
What do you mean? She had a whole I saw a clip the other day and she like had a whole she has a whole list of like what the things that she says that are most important to her that she's gonna, if she gets elected into office, that she's gonna.
I think the one thing that, you know, sucks about being stuck in America is, you know, when you look at these people that are saying, I'm going to give this to your country, I'm going to do this for your country, you elect them on the basis of trust and then they don't do it.
Oh yeah, well
And
that's
it's like, now you're stuck
that's
for
what I
them for
mean is
4
that
years.
that's what I mean is that I feel like over the past couple of years we've just turned into the land of empty promises. Everybody knows what they want, everybody knows what they think the best America could look like in their eyes, and when they find a politician that they think fits best with those views, like that aligns with them, they're going to go and follow with that. But a lot of the time, like those things that those people are voting for, like made them vote for that candidate, aren't even going to be promised in the end, like at the end of the 4 years. You know what I mean? Like when you think about it, like Obama, like his whole thing was Obamacare. And then Obamacare didn't really even come into play until the very end of his like presidency. You know what I mean?
I get it. I agree.
Yeah.
Like, I agree.
Yeah, he was a flop, in my opinion.
Well, okay, we're not gonna-
What are we gonna
you know,
do?
you know.
Hey.
A lot of presidents are flops. It's very, very, very
you know?
common.
Yeah, they're very much just, a figurehead.
Because you have
for
to
the
be a
greater
great
power.
actor to be a politician.
You have to have really thick skin, and you have to
Yeah.
be true to what you say. And I think
No.
None of them. Are
When-
true.
No, I think you have to be a great actor. You have to look the part. You have to tell the people what they want to
You
hear.
have to be a
And
phenomenal bullshitter.
But to be an actual good president, you have to put those things into play. Saying
yeah, but Elijah,
doesn't mean
when
as much.
could you say, like, when do you think, like, what's the last time we actually had a good president?
Last time we had a good president,
Yeah.
probably before I was born.
Yeah. So see, there we go.
So,
I mean, I hear you.
as to why I'm not super inclined to vote,
Yeah.
But you're going to promise to do it in the next election, right?
show me the candidates.
Show me the kid.
Like if it's Trump Jr. versus Kamala, I'm not.
Yo, I can't
Not
wait
gonna be
for
too far.
Bear and Trump
It's
to run
K
for president.
it's K Breezy and Eli Bleski.
Have you seen all the people talking about how Barron Trump is like getting Donald Trump to do advertisements with people he doesn't even know to try to like get his campaign more reputable?
Hey, I like it. It's a nice idea.
He's doing streams with Twitch streamers that he's never heard of because his son is telling him it. And
Good.
It's working.
I love it. I love it. You know, he's like taking in a different generation. You know, he's thinking about a different market.
Yeah, he's getting into the Twitcher.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Donald Trump on a live stream coming.
You know, it's funny you say that though. But
Episode 3 Trump.
Kai Cenat's like one of the most famous.
He has
like,
such an impact. You know, people.
He's a Twitch streamer, man. He's like the biggest of all. He's literally the biggest internet content creator right now. He surpassed Mr. Beast.
And you know,
he makes stupid amounts of money. He just did the Kai Carly feature. You know,
he had his own McDonald's meal.
He had his own McDonald's meal. This is a Twitch streamer. Because
he got hit up by Kamala for a
He's
stream.
funny.
Yeah.
That's why he's doing well. He's a personality hire. That's why.
But he's a real guy too, though. You know. He talked about openly on his stream. Kamala Harris wanted to come on his stream, and he didn't want politics on his stream because he knows that his influence is very vast and it's a young audience. So to be able to
not fair
man up and say, you know, I'm not gonna influence these people in ways that I shouldn't as a figure. I respect that, but I think
taking responsibility for his platform. You know.
Yeah,
I like it.
Social media does have a real impact, though. You know,
and I think I think that's why during election season, that's why people like are literally glued to their phones, because every second you look at, like, every time you pick up your phone during election season, like there's something new that's popping up about like what's going on in the world.
The amount of ads I've seen for Josh Riley and Mark Molinaro in the last 24 hours is going to drive me insane. Like
yeah.
Do you feel
Josh
more?
Riley.
Do you feel more inclined to vote?
Hell no.
Do you feel like the target ad marketing
it's the people making the ads are 60 years old. It's like why do I care about this?
Well, actually, you don't know that.
They're not young.
They're not young bucks like you.
No.
Yeah, no,
Definitely not.
no, they're not fly.
I would never make a political advertisement
Okay, well, that's
unless I ran, which I might.
Elijah. If you ran for presidency, I don't even know if I wouldn't.
You don't judge too
You
first.
in a
You don't
suit,
even
I,
know.
like,
You don't even
literally
know what my policies would be. How could you judge?
I'm
so
just
early?
thinking of you in a suit, like walking up, like
look
out
good in a
into a
suit.
big crowd, and I would lose my mind.
I look good in a suit.
Okay, and here we have Eli Bleski.
Here we got E Money walking up the stage.
Nobody would call you E Money.
The one and only.
Bullet to the ear for the crowd.
Nobody would call you E Money.
The one and only.
No.
The one and only Ish Money.
Each money, the blessed one.
The blessed one.
I swear by it.
I can't.
What?
Nothing. He's not.
just me.
His name is not E Money.
The first day I ever walked into work, this dude yells, or second day after he knew who I was, he E Money. As soon as I walked in, I wanted to leave.
And look and now we're all on a podcast
Yeah,
together.
but I mean,
Would you have ever thunk it, Elijah?
I thought about it the other day. You know, the things that came out of me getting my first job were far greater than I expected. You know,
You are literally so cute.
I did not expect anything like this at all. You know,
You're so cute. Oh, I love you, Elijah.
thank you.
I wish I could
He
say
didn't
the
say
same.
it back.
I wish I could say the same.
Thank you. Thank you.
David Amato really helped me
That
out.
was a very politician response, Elijah.
You know, I think there's a lot we could talk about. You
We
know,
could go on
what
for
do
days.
you think about Elon Musk going on stage with Donald Trump?
Yo, dude, this political rally. This is really what's it's how is it not entertainment?
It just doesn't feel political.
Like, nothing about
weird.
this whole campaign has felt political at all. Like, nothing about it has felt political. Like, yes, it's felt opinionated.
but
But that's what I
But
mean
it's
is
like-
that I feel like a lot of
Sorry.
no, I'm just saying I feel like a lot of the political campaigns over the past couple of years haven't felt real. Like they don't.
Yeah, I think
They
it's
don't
just,
feel
it's
real.
Just the use of social media. It really
It emphasizes it so much,
but, you know,
it
makes them
And it
want
heightens the
to
conversation.
do more with social media because it's the most mainstream thing in the world. You know, there's 20 years ago, if you try to get a phone and go post something,
And
some dude in
honestly-
South Korea was looking at it. Come on,
social media is one of the common grounds that like both parties do have. Both
Mm-hmm.
parties love to share their political beliefs on social media.
Maybe that's just the new
Team
norm.
Trump TikToks or the Biden TikToks.
Whether that's just the new norm. Like that's the new.
I cringe
marketing
every time I
for,
see them.
Politics. I don't know. I think they've been hilarious. The
It's
Elon
just
Musk and
like-
Donald Trump pep rallies where they're just playing music and dancing, and then you have like the Epstein concerts of Kamala Harris, and like just every single person that walks her out is on some list or exploited in some way where you're like, how is this good publicity? You know,
I
like
think
how is this a
PR sense,
positive?
Yeah, but with
like,
politicians,
like,
any publicity is good
is that
publicity.
good publicity? You know what I mean?
I think
Like,
publicity as a politician,
when your
you know,
name's
as
on the
long as your
same-
name's out there.
Yeah,
that's
if
what
your
you
name
need.
is in the paper, that's what you need.
now, if
I-
you're,
I
Your name is in the conversation, and to
No
them,
way.
that's all that matters.
if your name is on
You
the
agree?
same list
Yes.
as Diddy, I don't want you walking me out. I don't
I
want
get that,
you on
but I mean,
stage
what
with
you
me.
got- what you gotta
I don't
understand
want
is
you
that
supporting
same-
me.
No,
or,
if you
that same politician was probably
There's
at
no
those
way.
Epstein parties. Like, what are we
Yeah.
talking about?
Like, I don't even know way. I'm just sorry if we're gonna talk about like the morals.
Brandon,
of
you've
it,
been alive
if
so
we're gonna
long. You
talk
might have been the
about
founder of those parties. Brother. What are you talking
That's
about?
literally what I was
If
going to
we're
say. He
gonna
might have
talk-
been there. He might have been at some of
definitely
these
been
fucking
there.
parties.
At least so
Like-
if I've been there, I have the
Episode
more,
3,
at least I
Brandon's
morally
experience
know
at the
that you
Diddy
shouldn't be
party.
accepting that shit. Even if I've been there and I've seen it, like, okay, so don't parade it. Like, I'm not gonna go out there and have somebody walking me out who I know is literally under investigation, who I know is being, you know what I mean, indicted or has information that's blackballing them out there. That's just gonna be definitely like, wouldn't you want to be smarter? Even if those are those people, like if
Yeah.
you do
Okay.
support, wouldn't you want to be smarter about the image that you're projecting rather than have this trail of tears from every single new celebrity that
Well,
happens?
that's
like,
where like Donald
like-
Trump's son comes into play. You know, when he
Yeah,
comes to image, you know, he's doing Twitch streams with all the most famous streamers.
Yeah,
in the
like,
world,
you're-
all those
you're-
things. That's
you're definitely
that's
winning.
publicity that you would want because you're reaching a demographic that generally would not be reached.
You're winning more. Yeah, you're winning more speaking to the regular guy than having the person who has their own baggage promoting you
Yeah.
and like trying to sponsor you as a support. Like, I get there might be celebrities, but like, I don't know if we're like anyone's realized it. This isn't the time of the celebrity anymore. You have John Cena hopping on people's like
He's the most real dude I've
their
ever met.
streams. You have like
Elijah just
think-
made it seem like he's met John
yeah,
Cena.
but I'm just saying when you
I met
think
him at
when you think
WWE
about
in
it, though,
2019.
like this
Just
isn't like
saying.
the end of the celebrity is over. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like it's the death to the
yeah,
celebrity.
no, I
People
think
are famous. Don't
celebrity
get me
means a
wrong.
lot- it's a
Celebrity.
lot
It's a
different.
different. It's yes. The parameters have changed. Like yes, there'll always be celebrities. I agree. Yes, someone's always
Celebrity
gonna get
just
a,
means something
like,
different
yeah.
now, really. You
Yeah,
know,
someone they're gonna give someone a star on the the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Like, you're gonna earn your celebrity, right? But the room, the atmosphere of celebrity has changed. Like, it's not the same space that it was before. So like these people that just no one even gives a fuck about going to movies anymore. So why do I care about a movie star? Every movie flops now. They don't
That's
care
not
about
true.
good content.
I think though, like when you say people don't go to the
it's
movies, it's different. Like the viewership is still there.
yeah, it's just from the comfort of your own
Blu-ray,
home.
You can
It's
go
a
on
different-
Amazon.
Elijah,
watch any
nobody
movie-
uses
movie-
Blu-ray anymore. I'm surprised you even know what Blu-ray is.
Alexis, you're like 5 years older than me.
He's got a fact.
Like we have pretty much the same experience in that.
No, Elijah,
I use Blu-ray. Until I was
we're
like
not-
15.
Okay, whatever. All right.
You got to when you don't got Wi-Fi.
Now Walkman is a different story.
Okay,
Yeah,
we're
Brandon,
not even getting
Brandon,
into
we
it.
understand you're 80 years old, okay?
I was just saying,
We understand.
if you're gonna make the difference.
Just because you have a cane hidden behind that chair right now doesn't mean anything.
But
Imagine pulling.
I think you did a great job, Elijah. I think this was a great conversation.
Yeah,
and I
definitely.
think that I was very interested to hear your thoughts and opinions about it because it's not something that I feel like we really talk about. Especially, even, the three of us have all worked together. I feel like in our workplace, when we all work together, like that politics really weren't a conversation. Like they never really came up.
It's hard to have political conversations because a lot of people get uncomfortable. So to sit down and have that be the focal point of what you're talking about,
Yeah.
people don't feel like they have to change what they think to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
And it's maturity.
No, I think you did a great job, Elijah.
Thank you. You too.
And
And you.
I love having you on and welcome to the team, brother.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
And that's just
2 Scoops Next
You're
Gen,
too-
episode 1,
too formal for me.
not
man.
episode 9.
Yeah, not episode 9.
This is episode 9. I don't care what anybody says.
Brandon, you have anything else you'd like to say before
add
we
to
close
the-
it off?
I got one question for you.
Yeah, please.
After this election, what do you want to see different after the election? What is something that you value that you want to change?
I'm just all I expect.
Because I know you have values. You can act like you don't, but I know you do.
All I expect is to see more of the same. That's all. That's all.
Oh, God.
Your life will be boring
expect.
forever.
That's all I expect. It's
Yeah, he
more of
likes
the
no
same.
change. He likes no
You
change.
I know.
More
Well,
of
it's
the same.
of course you're gonna like no change when you've been
When you're a
around
boomer.
since 1920s.
When, yeah.
He's had to adapt so many times. He just does not care anymore.
You know, you have to be something.
Yeah,
know.
he lived through the prohibition, and it was really.
It was hard.
I know.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine no
You
alcohol?
know that Brandon actually was in the same math class as Abraham Lincoln.
Oh my God.
swear to everything. Calculus too.
It was a good friend
Back
of
in the
mine.
day.
It was a good friend of mine, honestly.
Was he a good friend?
He taught me a lot. I think that's
Yeah,
I mean that's the extent of it, like right. What we're going
I think we
into,
hit a
like,
couple good points.
We hit a couple points.
welcome-
Would you be on the
talked
show
about-
again?
100%.
You would come on the show again? You
100%.
think?
Wow, thanks, Elijah.
Thank you.
What do you feel like? How do you feel about it?
Feels good. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just true to myself. You
Okay.
know, I say what I think. I'm not gonna pull a Brandon
This
and come
isn't-
back
this
next
isn't
season to
Eli.
try to be myself.
This isn't Eli. Good. I mean, at least you learned from it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure once.
This is Eli Bleski straight out of Compton right here. That's what this is right now.
God,
The
please.
realist.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, thank you,
guys.
Eli Bless.
Thank you.
That's
And thanks
solid.
for tuning
I'm glad
in,
we're
everyone.
Back. I'm glad we're back.
This is 2 Scoops and we're out.